Alright, here we go again. This is like my third time trying to record this. There's another review for Monday Night Raw. This Raw was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. A lot of disappointing matches, a lot of questions I have. So right off the bat, if FoolKiller ever gets to look at this, for whatever reason he would, FoolKiller, would you please tell me why this is happening? Michelle is getting the biggest push in the world and they're not stopping the push. Okay? I'll explain why when I get to that match. Okay? But for everybody else, let's go ahead and start off the review. Edge comes out, cuts a promo, says he doesn't want to wait for The Miz. As you know, they're going to have a match today. Or a match for the Monday Night Raw. Champion versus champion. So the anonymous general manager chimes in and tells Edge, well, just to get you ready, we're going to give you a 3-on-1 match. So 3 mid-carders come out and they take on Edge on an over-the-top match. Actually, not even mid-carders because Tyson Kidd's one of them. So Tyson Kidd, Drew McIntyre, I want to say Cody Rhodes, but I really don't think it was Cody Rhodes. I can't remember. And Edge pretty easily puts all of them over the top rope, eliminating all 3 of them. So that was pretty cool. Edge is about ready to destroy the computer again, and then here comes the Nexus music. So CM Punk and the New Nexus, that's what they're calling themselves now, the New Nexus, has come out. The new guy has been announced. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the new guy's name. If you guys know, go ahead and let me know. I think he's also got a last name Brian. I could be wrong. But anyway, the new guy doesn't really make a statement, doesn't make a stand. They just introduce him, give him his name. I'm not even sure if he speaks English at this point. So he's just huge. So anyway, CM Punk starts disrespecting the core, the old Nexus, and here comes the core, C-O-R-R-E. So Wade Barrett comes out. Of course, Wade Barrett says everybody in core is an equal. Of course, Wade Barrett kind of leads it still. General manager chimes in again. It's going to be Wade Barrett versus CM Punk. The loser's team does not get to go to the Royal Rumble. And John Cena will be the guest referee. This tops off tonight's main event. Moving on from there. Tag team match with John Morrison, Mark Henry versus Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio. The only thing I liked out of this is that Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio worked really well together. You see Sheamus saving Alberto Del Rio from Starship Pain. The tags were good. The thing that really sucked about this was Alberto Del Rio gets a cross arm on Mark Henry. Fine and dandy. I have no doubt that you could actually pull that off. But for Mark Henry to tap out in less than 3 seconds, which is quicker than Rey Mysterio has ever tapped out. So you're taking the world's strongest man, taps out to a cross arm bar that a 160-pound luchador taps out in after 10 seconds. And Mark Henry does it in less than 3. Do you not see how screwed up this is? Anyway, moving on. The next match is, we're going to go to the next tag match, because I'm shuffled. So, Vladimir Kozlov and Santino Marella versus 2 members of the New Nexus, which are Husky Harris and Michael McGillicuddy. These guys seem to be together quite a bit. I'm sure the 3rd generation superstar, which for Husky Harris, his father and grandfather really weren't that big of superstars. But hey, who am I to criticize? So anyway, 3rd generation superstars, they seem to mesh pretty well together. They beat Vladimir Kozlov and Santino Marella. I kind of skipped through the match, so Vladimir disappeared somewhere off screen. I don't even know where he disappeared to. Husky Harris got the win. Fairly clean over Santino Marella. A little distraction on Michael McGillicuddy's part, but other than that, it was a clean match. Diva's match. Okay, so here's the part, FoolKiller, if you're listening. I know you review TNA, but I also believe, if I'm not mistaken, you watch quite a bit of WWE too. You're just a wrestling guru. That's what you do. It is a Divas title defense, Natalya versus Melina, which Natalya wins fairly easily. She ends up putting a sharpshooter on Melina and brings Melina's feet all the way to the back of her head in the sharpshooter, which was pretty cool. I thought Melina was actually going to be paralyzed or something. But then here comes LayCool. Now, why is it I've seen LayCool 3 times as much as I've seen the current Divas champion? They're not impressive to watch. I get tired of Michelle's mouth. Layla wrestles a lot better than Michelle does, and she's a hell of a lot cuter. But yet Michelle's the front girl for this team. And they come out and they state, we never got our rematch, so we're calling one now at the Royal Rumble. 2 problems with that. First off, as anybody knows, you have 30 days to claim your rematch clause. You have to claim it. They don't just reinstate it for you. You have to claim it, and you have to claim it or at least set the date within 30 days of losing the title. It's been 2 months and you haven't said anything about it. So, number 1, that's your fault. Number 2, the title does not have to be defended again, even at a main event, for 30 days. She just defended the title. How can you expect her to defend the title again in 5 days? Unless the general manager steps in and makes a call some other way. I could be wrong, but Michelle McCool, you're not the general manager. Or am I mistaken? So, FoolKiller, if you know more about that information, because I heard something about Michelle McCool dating The Undertaker about, what was it, a year back in one of your videos. I'm not really good on all the backstories and all that, so if you could help me out with that, help me understand, please, before I end up destroying my monitor with my face. Thank you. Moving on. Mixed tag team match. This one got to be quite comical. The Bellas and Daniel Bryan versus Maurice, Alicia Fox, and Ted DiBiase. Again, this one I didn't even have to skip through. Breeze flirting with Daniel Bryan. Nikki turns around, gets jealous, gets caught by surprise, and gets pinned. Rolled up pretty easily by one of the girls. I didn't pay attention because the match doesn't really matter to me. Later on we find out that Daniel Bryan is actually dating Gail Kim, which is kind of funny. Really, Bellas, you're not good looking enough for Daniel Bryan to really date. You got hot bodies, but you got some seriously chiseled faces. You're lovely girls, I'm sure, just, you know, sorry. I'd say Gail Kim. Not only is Gail Kim a much better wrestler than either one of them, but you know, she's a lot hotter. So, just my opinion. So here we go. Let me scroll down here. I need notes. So, when we get done with all that, John and Miz have a segment backstage. The Miz says he's going to take out Edge just like he took out Randy Orton. John Cena punks The Miz, and John Cena makes a prediction that Miz isn't even going to get to, you know, WrestleMania as the champion, that Randy Orton's going to beat him. Again, some foreshadowing. I really believe that's the route this is going to go. So we're getting ready. The Miz versus Edge. Ends up being a pretty good match. Edge kind of dominates The Miz for the most part. And then somewhere in there, Dolph Ziggler interferes, and then the match is called. Excuse me. After they all try getting up on Edge, Randy Orton comes out, saves the day, and just starts taking everybody apart. Miz, as usual, grabs his belt and heads for the hills. I really thought John Cena was going to come out at this point and clothesline Miz, because it looks like John Cena is backing up Randy Orton all the way on this. But it didn't happen. So we'll see. I really think Randy Orton's going to take the title on this one. There's another way to look at this, and I'll explain after I go ahead and talk about the Wade Barrett CM Punk match. This was funny as hell. Wade Barrett versus CM Punk with John Cena as the guest referee. First thing John Cena does is he takes all the members of Core and all the members of Nexus and sends them backstage, back to the locker rooms. You knew this was going to happen. Then John Cena, I think he throws CM Punk over the top rope and he slaps Wade Barrett and then shows him the referee shirt, "You can't touch me." This is pretty funny, but you know it's going to end bad for Cena. Cena lets him wrestle a little bit, then he slams them both again, and then says the match is disqualified because they are using foul language. This is a PG show. Like, we can even hear them. But it's funny because you're like, oh my god, he didn't just do that. And he did just do that. Naturally, the general manager gets on and says that John Cena has abused his power, and he's going to correct this by allowing both factions to participate in the Royal Rumble, and John Cena must now go back into the ring and apologize to both factions. Eventually, after John Cena starts knocking Wade Barrett and CM Punk out, after he's apologized, here comes Core, here comes Nexus. You knew this was going to go bad for Cena. And then here comes the rest of the WWE locker room, or should I say I would say the Raw roster, but actually SmackDown's in it too. And it's a giant Royal Rumble, and then they close out the show, which is a really good way to promote the Royal Rumble. It looks like, I'm trying to cut this short, it looks like somehow, someway WWE is trying to set up some sort of mirrored faction, or some sort of mirror element, I'm sorry. Think about it, the faction, the Nexus, the new Nexus, and the old Nexus, one on each show. Now you've got, quite possibly you could have a champion, The Miz, who has a sidekick the whole time, helping him win all of his matches. And yes, I said all of his matches. You cannot show me one match where Alex Riley has not interfered to help The Miz retain the title. There is not one. Same thing with Dolph Ziggler. What's disappointing with Dolph Ziggler is that he can win his matches without Vicky Guerrero. But Vicky Guerrero's there to give him the push. And if it plays like Edge, like Vicky and Edge did a few years ago, Dolph will become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And he's not going to lose it for squat because Vicky just plays dirty like that. So you've got two heels as heavyweight title holders. Possibly even the Divas Championship could split up and go one direction and the other one at this point. Who knows? You've got two giant factions. You know, you've got two faces holding the mid-carder titles, the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what WWE is going to do here, or what they're trying to do. I don't know. Put your comments down at the bottom. Maybe you guys know a little bit more than me. Alright, hopefully, see you next week.